Sunrise, the start of every new day, and the name of our leopard catamaran. Come and join Russ and Margy as they jump in to their adventure, sailing the world.
After a night in Whangarei Harbour, we sailed north to Whangamumu, which was a nice, quiet, big bay. And the next day we sailed on again, had a lovely sail into a bay called Whangamumu, which is this one here. Narrow entrance, but fabulous protected harbour, lots to see and do.
Anchored in a beautiful bay. And there's whaling station in the corner, or old whaling station in the corner here. Hard to believe they used to think that was a good idea to harpoon whales. To drag them up there, I guess. Beautiful bush. What a beautiful spot. Looks like some of the old boilers. Trees are certainly taken over. This boiler, it's propped up with a hole underneath, so they'd light a fire underneath and the water would run backwards and forwards through those pipes, heat up and then pump down into those concrete pits you can see, and they would stack them full of the whale blubber, which then they'd scoop the oil off the top. The whale oil was used for lamps and to make soap.
Saying they used to get an average of 10 to 50 whales per season, and they used to herd them into steel nets across that narrow entry to the bay. There were quite a few walks in Whangamumu Harbour, and we spent a few days checking them all out and exploring the various tracks. This one took us up to a very picturesque waterfall, and if you felt brave you might have gone further on those slippery steep rocks and found a pool, but I didn't.
I never gave the key to you, even though I wanted to. Should be trying something new, but now my body's aching. I'm tired of dwelling in the dark, it's just that my heart can't take it. I didn't know what it would cost me when I let you go. I feel alone, and I'm just singing, It should have been you. Another time, another place.
Oh, another beautiful little creek.
It could have been you. What a crime and what a shame to let go. Sometimes I just don't know what to do. It should have been you.
Whoa.
I could be driving to your place, but now the ground is shaking. Could be a phase, but it feels like it will never go away until we make up. I can't
got new South African friends this morning. First time sailors like us. Across the Atlantic, everything we want to do. Now we're going to tackle a major walk up there.
Sometimes I just don't know what to do. 'Cause it should have been you.
Margy, you got the view?
We're having a really interesting discussion.
I think you're having trouble breathing.
I could be wrapped around your arms instead of being lonely. It should have been you. Another time, another place, I just know. You could have been the one who made me feel home. What a crime and what a shame to let go. Ooh, it should have been you. Another time, another place, I just know. You could have been the one who made me feel at home. What a crime and what a shame to let you go. Sometimes I just don't know what to do. It should have been you.
We got back from the walk and it was getting late in the afternoon. I thought I'd take the opportunity to go for a fish. Okay, it's pretty neat on the sounder. Let's see which way we drift here. Might just leave the motor running where just in case. Looks fishy. No, it sounds like a fisherman's story. Oh, geez, I just had a beauty on. Completely smashed me. You know, I didn't have time to get the camera out to get it rolling. Just got the boat drifting around in there, fluttering around in this wash. Just a little circle hook in the top end of the fillet, floating around the wash. Just getting a little nibble there now. See what this is. It felt quite decent, that last one. Alright, we've got a little bit of a inquiry here. Nice spot here, nice afternoon. It's getting the last rays of the sun. Here we go. Come on out. Oh yeah, he's a... Checking out this afternoon. Got two big ones. That's a fisherman's story, I know. But it truly is. I start at the back of the head, make a cut in there, and then push down along the backbone, like that, lift up that bit of the flesh, and work my way up to the rib cage, cut over the top of the ribs, cut down like that. I'll leave the last bit of it on so that I can hold the skin. Push down against the skin. Cut like that. I'll cut right on this. I'll cut there. There's a line of bones along there. Cut close to the other side.
there you have it. We've got the salt water going here. Only ever put salt water near the fish. I do. Wash all the scales. Slime off. Man, there you have it.
With our new friends Pete and Karin from Moondust, we decided to do a walk and to see how far we could get on the Whangamumu Peninsula. It was quite a varied walk and started off with a scramble up a hill and involved walking across a very narrow isthmus in very windy weather and bashing through almost waist-high grass and scrub over our head, but fabulous day and a great walk.
And
This walk isn't really a marked walk, and it's not on the Maps Me app, which is a great little app, by the way, for finding walks in New Zealand. So it's not on the app. There were no signs about this walk, but we heard about it from a couple of local women who obviously do quite a lot of walking. And we thought that given it was along the top of a peninsula with ocean on both sides, we probably couldn't get lost. So we followed some livestock or animal tracks, and it all worked out really well. But it was interesting through lots of different vegetation. This is where we're walking across this isthmus. It's only about 1.5 meters wide, and it was almost a vertical drop on both sides, down about 70 meters to the ocean. So it was great to be able to walk across there and look at it all. Russ just had to do one of his famous face plants into this spongy grass to show us exactly how spongy it was. Never walked in grass quite like this, but it was good exercise. Lift your knees up through all this grass and through what really wasn't a track. But anyway, we were doing it to the view.
What do you think we go fishing this morning, Margy?
Sounds like a great idea, darling.
What are you checking?
Sitting around?
Checking the weather.
Yeah.
How is it?
Well, it's calming down today, and then tomorrow it's perfectly calm and no rain. So I think tomorrow's a good day to go around this headland into the next bay and check out the walks and stuff there. And then Wednesday and Thursday are going to be nice too. So I think that's when we could go around Cape Brett and into Land Islands.
Okay. Well, I'll get the gear ready. Didn't get much bait. We used that salmon you bought.
We came out to the same area I fished in the previous afternoon, and as always, when you take your wife with you, she outfishes you.
The weather and the swell calmed down, so we decided to go into the Bay of Islands. So we headed up north to Cape Brett and then west into the Bay of Islands. And you can see why it's called the Bay of Islands. Absolutely spectacular place. And because there was another blow of about 40 knots coming from the east, we got into a lovely sheltered bay on the west of Urapukapua Island. While the weather was still good, I managed to get out for lots of paddles, and I went to the bays to the south of us and then right around the top of Urapukapua Island. It was such beautiful, interesting kayaking around these little headlands. I also came ashore and walked on most of the tracks on Urapukapua Island. They were all very nicely marked and mapped out, and at one point on the island there's an old pa, obviously in a very good strategic position to allow the iwi to see if anyone was invading. It's also a bird sanctuary here on Urapukapua, so bird life's fantastic there. After a wild sleepless night of 40 knots of wind bashing the boat around, we up anchor and went into Apua.
You get a rainy day like today, we set our little dish up on the top step coming down from the fly bridge, and I just drilled a hole in it and screwed a hose fitting on, and then I've got a clear hose running down to the water tank. And I find, you know, just a light shower of rain, I normally just clip the hose on after we've had, you know, 5 minutes of rain, let it all wash off. But it's nothing to get like 100 litres in there in a couple of hours of rain, or an hour or so of rain. You see it's just trickling in there now. It's a short hose, it's easy just to fold up, put away. Great little thing. Well, we've got a sunshine, misty old morning. Us early risers. I think it's 8 o'clock. Oh, geez, it did rain last night. I think we must have got at least 100 millimetres in an hour or two. There's apparently 200 yachts waiting here, approximately, to go to Fiji. That certainly is a collection point. Getting ready to move around. Where are we moving to? Down to Pie here, because there's a cultural event on tomorrow. So I thought we'd get around there and get all settled, get a bit of groceries. And Margy's doing her anchor challenge. Come though. There, the bridle's up. Put that. Motor forward a little bit to pull the anchor up on a slight angle, lift it out of the mud. Margy's give me a thumbs up, says it's all come up. Get ready to get moving.